Good afternoon and welcome. This is Matt Lindsay with Precision Home Group, and today we have our special guest on, our new salesperson, Boston Hoppman. So thanks for joining us, Boston. Really appreciate it. Really stoked to have you on. Been with the company now a little over a week, about 2 weeks now.
Right.
Already set some appointments, been on the phones, hammering those calls out, and really being able to produce from the get-go. So, I just wanted a chance to introduce you to everybody, to the audience, to people watching, joining in, because Boston is the new face of our sales team. So, as we're producing calls, there is somebody else you can go to, there is somebody else you can talk to. He's learning, we're coaching, we're going through a whole bunch of different stuff. And before you know it, he's going to be taking on a lot more as he's ambitious and hungry. And, you have a heart to learn. Not just residential, but multifamily, we talked about that. Commercial world, we talked about that. So, as you started here, I just want to let people know, who is Boston, where you come from, and just let them know who you are.
Right.
So let's kick it off. When did you know you wanted to be in real estate?
So actually, I've been around real estate my entire life.
Okay.
My parents are both real estate agents, and I have an uncle that's a real estate agent.
Okay.
So from a very young age, I've been around the industry. But actually, not until recently did I actually decide to make the switch and actually want to get into real estate, because it's one of those industries where if you put in more effort, you're going to get more results out of it.
Exactly.
So that's why I made the switch.
Right on. I love it. And it's a crazy thing. I mean, you got family. You said your parents in real estate, stepdad's in real estate, and they're actually in the same building here.
Yeah, they are. They're right above us.
Yeah. Was that did that play in a decision at all, or was that like, oh man, I don't know how this is gonna work out? Any thoughts like that or anything?
Not exactly. They were actually very encouraging from the very beginning.
That's awesome.
It's just funny that because I interviewed with a few other teams, actually at Keller Williams.
Okay.
I found you guys on Instagram, and then I had that one interview with you at the coffee shop.
Yep.
And I feel like our personalities just got along from the very beginning, and that's so I feel like we just clicked, and right from the get-go. You brought in the 10X role by Grant Cardone.
Yeah. And
that kind of sold me from the very beginning.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. So I brought that in, and you were like, I've already read this. And it's company policy for Precision Home Group that I bring 10X rule to every interview. And by the second time we meet, I expect that to be read, and I want to go over it because that's how we operate. And you can attest to that. That it's just all about taking that massive action and putting in the work, and that's the company culture here.
Absolutely.
So you decided to make the switch to real estate not too long ago, and we talked about that. So you mentioned you kind of found us on social media, on Instagram.
Right.
Can you delve into that a little bit deeper? Did you just run across us? I know we took the same pre-licensing course.
Yeah.
With the same instructor. So how did that go from you seeing us on Instagram to kind of the first touch we really had was at a Remax barbecue, right?
Yeah, funny enough. Right, so we had the same instructor for the pre-licensing class, and she actually mentioned your name. She said you were killing it, and she said that you were all over social media, and I was like, that's interesting because my parents are real estate agents, and they're not really on social media at all. So this guy's obviously doing something different. And so she mentioned your name. I looked you up, and you're easy to find. And then I saw you at that picnic.
Yeah.
The Remax picnic, and Tim introduced me, and then I guess from there we set up an interview, and here we are today.
Here we are, right on. So you heard about us through that, through the teachers. It talks about growth there, the social media, having that presence, easy to be found. And we both know that getting out of obscurity is something huge. That if you're in sales, if you want to do business with people, that's something you have to do.
Right.
And you're starting to do that. You're putting content out there. You're recently engaging people on your social media and Instagram and stuff like that. He didn't even know 15 minutes ago we were going to be doing this on live. So you're here, you're a champ, you're putting it out there.
Right.
So you're growing, man. So, what are 2 things so far? I mean, you've been in real estate for about 2 weeks. You had the courses before. You grew up in real estate. What are a couple things that you've come across or encountered or learned so far that has just been huge for your growth?
Well, the first one that comes right off the top of my mind is just persistence.
Okay.
Because what you're having me do is making a lot of cold calls,
Mm-hmm.
and that took a few days to get used to. And after a few hundred cold calls with no results, you're like, does this actually work? But then after a few days of doing it, I set a few listing appointments already through a cold call. These people don't know I'm calling, they don't know who I am, but they've agreed to meet with me.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting, actually.
Yeah.
So persistence is number one, and then I guess you guys obviously are doing things different. Just you guys have taught me to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of mentions that in the 10x rule.
Yeah.
Right. And so just getting out there, getting on social media, getting out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
I would say is the other thing.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, they just don't realize that, from the get-go.
Right.
From being in the business for for such a short amount of time, but to realize hey, this works, this pays off.
Right.
Not too many people are going to do that, are going to put the work or the calls in, they're just business should attract to me even if I don't put anything out there. That's how it works, right?
Right, which is completely wrong.
Right?
Completely wrong.
You have to go out there and put yourself out there through calls, through personal visits, through touches to friends and family who didn't know you're in real estate now.
Right.
And then that's what you're doing as well.
Right.
So that's awesome. I really appreciate it. So what are some of the goals and expectations that you have for your future here with Precision Home Group?
Well, for right now, I don't want to get into numbers too much.
Yeah, no
but
problem.
I just want to learn as much as possible within
Okay.
the first year, and hopefully, I know you guys are expanding,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome, and I want to grow with you and just learn as much as possible, learn as much as I can about the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, man. So yesterday we talked about in my live video, I did one on systems and strategies. And I've talked about that in live videos, talked about that with other people. The way I was kind of brought up, from before I was in real estate and stuff, it was just very quiet, so it's hard for me to extrapolate on some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Systems and strategies, how important are those to you? How important do you see those in Precision Home Group? And how are we doing with those systems?
Right. So systems and strategies are very important in any business, in my opinion, because you can put out as much effort as you want to.
Yep.
You can try everything, but if you don't have a system that's proven to work and strategies that are proven to work, then the effort you're putting out isn't going to produce any results.
Exactly.
So, systems and strategies are extremely important, and you guys are very efficient. You guys do things differently, like I've said at least 3 times now already, but it's because they work.
Yeah.
It's efficient, it's different, and it's what a lot of other people are not doing. So.
Yeah, just it makes it so you don't even have to think at times.
Right, exactly. It's just,
you're this is everything I have to do, just go down the list and that's it.
Right.
You're anybody could do this.
Right.
But not everyone's willing to put in that work.
Exactly.
So, man, that's awesome. So, what is one of the most important takeaways from sitting here talking over this, talking about kind of recapping this last week? What's one thing that you would talk to someone or tell someone who might be interested in interviewing, or might be looking to just getting into real estate?
Right. Well, honestly, the first thing I would have them do is give them a copy of the 10x rule. That's how big that book was for me when I read it, and I would say persistence is the biggest thing. Just persistence and grit. Making those cold calls, getting out of your comfort zone, and even if the results aren't here today, they'll show up tomorrow or the day after that. As long as you put in the work today.
Just keep pushing.
Right. Exactly.
And then always moving forward, right?
Right.
I love it, man.
Always.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Boston. It's been awesome having you on. I know, like I said, it was last minute. You were like, I don't know if I want to do this. You thought I was joking at first.
Yeah, I thought
right?
he was joking about the live.
But thanks for jumping on here, and we're looking forward to having you on more often.
Right.
Just so that we can get you on here, introduce our audience to you, and then you can get a feel, for these live videos, start doing them yourself. So.
Right. I like them a lot, actually.
Right
This
on.
was fun.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you.